Ever thought about the purpose of the law? Why do we have it in the first place? The law, as presented in the scriptures, serves a profound purpose. It's like a mirror, reflecting our imperfections and shortcomings back to us. Take Romans 3:20, for instance. It tells us that through the law we gain knowledge of sin. It's not a tool for justification, but a means to realize our own fallibility. Now let's consider James 2:10. It states that if we fail in one point of the law, we're essentially guilty of all of it. It's like a chain. If one link breaks, the whole thing falls apart. This paints a clear picture of the impossibility of achieving righteousness through our own efforts alone. So, the law serves to illuminate our sin and imperfections, making us realize that we cannot justify ourselves through our actions or good deeds alone. It's a stark reminder of our need for grace. What then is our hope if we can't be justified by the law or our good deeds? A valid question indeed. The answer lies in Galatians 3:13, which tells us that Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming cursed for us. It's a profound statement, isn't it? Christ took the curse upon himself so we wouldn't have to bear it. Through his sacrifice we are justified, but not by our efforts, but by faith alone. It's a transformation into grace, a divine assistance that leads us to freedom from condemnation. This freedom, my friends, is not a license to sin, but a call to live a life pleasing to God, a life under grace. We are saved from the penalty of sin, and we're being saved from the power of sin. And one glorious day we will be saved from the presence of sin. Through Christ we are saved from the penalty of sin, the power of sin, and eventually the presence of sin. So what does this transformation into grace look like in our lives? When we step into the grace of Christ, we enter a process of sanctification, a journey of becoming more like Christ each day. It's not about trying harder or doing more, but rather, allowing Christ's grace to work in us, shaping us into his likeness. And that's not all. We also have a glorious future to anticipate. In Christ, we will be glorified. We will be made perfect, free from the presence of sin that still taints our world. Imagine that. A day when sin and its effects no longer mar our existence. This triumph of grace is beautifully captured in the song "In Christ Alone." The lyrics echo the victory over sin through Christ's resurrection. There in the ground his body lay, light of the world by darkness slain. Then bursting forth in glorious day, up from the grave he rose again. In Christ alone we find our victory. Sin's curse has lost its grip on us because we are his, bought with the precious blood of Christ.